Tonar 7502-6x6. Now the list moves into the territory of trucks that do not need pavement to get to work. The Tonar 7502-6x6 comes from Russia, built by Tonar, a company known for heavy-duty vehicles used in mining, construction, and transportation through difficult regions. It was made for mud, snow, gravel, ice, destroyed roads, and job sites where a highway truck would not last very long. This brute uses a 6-cylinder inline diesel engine, with versions generally in the 1113L range, producing roughly 400 to 500 horsepower, depending on the configuration. Torque can exceed 1,800 Nm, enough to launch heavy loads from low speed and keep the truck pushing forward. 0 to 60 miles per hour is not the number that matters here, and top speed usually sits around 50 to 55 miles per hour in favorable conditions. The Tonar 7502 has that tough Russian heavy truck presence, a high cab, a heavy front end, huge tires, and a stance that makes it look like it will make its own road if needed. It is used in mining, heavy construction, off-road hauling, and remote operations, solving one simple and brutal problem: moving cargo where infrastructure is poor or almost non-existent. If you're enjoying this ride through absurd trucks, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell, because from here on, this list only gets heavier. And if this 6x6 already looks tough enough to handle almost any terrain, the next truck takes the off-road idea to another level, with versions packed with so many axles that it looks like they were built to multiply traction on the ground. KAMAZ 7850. The list enters a territory where a truck is no longer just transportation. It becomes a strategic platform. The KAMAZ 7850 was developed in Russia by KAMAZ as part of the special Platforma O family. Created for heavy military applications, it was designed to carry large systems, including strategic equipment, launchers, and loads that demand extreme off-road mobility. This giant can use a high-output diesel engine with a multi-cylinder configuration and power commonly reported around 850 horsepower, depending on version and application. Torque is massive, built to move a many-ton platform at low speed with control and constant traction. 0 to 60 miles per hour is not a relevant measurement because this vehicle was not made for quick launches, and top speed is usually in the 25 to 37 miles per hour range, depending on load, terrain, and setup. One of the most unusual parts of the project is the drive system. The Platforma O family became known for using electric wheel drive instead of a simple conventional mechanical transmission. In practice, the diesel engine powers generators and electric motors help drive the wheels, allowing refined control in a vehicle this large. The drive configuration is 16 by 16 with multiple steering wheels, independent suspension, and surprisingly good maneuverability for its size. The KAMAZ 7850 looks intimidating. A wide cab, 8 axles, massive tires, and a body that almost resembles a moving bridge. It was built for military operations where mobility, autonomy, and the ability to carry heavy systems are essential. This is not the kind of truck you see on an ordinary road, and that is exactly why it gained attention among military vehicle enthusiasts. It represents engineering designed to move power across the ground, not just cargo. And if the KAMAZ is already impressive for turning military mobility into something gigantic, the next one takes us back a few decades to a truck so large it looked like it was built to tame the desert. Thor 24 Peterbilt 359. Now the list enters the world of pure access. Thor 24 is based on a 1984 Peterbilt 359 built in the United States, but it was modified so heavily that it became a one-off creation. It was not built for ordinary freight work. It was built to impress at shows, exhibitions, and custom truck events. The highlight is the pair of Detroit diesel V12 engines, adding up to 24 cylinders in total with multiple superchargers. The setup reaches around 3,974 horsepower. 0 to 60 miles per hour is not the main point, but the reported top speed is close to 125 miles per hour, which is surreal for a truck of this size. The transmission is manual. The truck is rear-wheel drive, and the structure was heavily reinforced to handle the weight and force of the two engines. The chassis was stretched, the suspension was upgraded, and the hood became massive to fit all that outrageous machinery. Visually, it is a rolling spectacle. Chrome everywhere, huge exhaust stacks, a classic cab, and a presence that turns every appearance into a show. Thor 24 became famous at events and auctions, treated as an extreme piece of custom engineering on wheels. And if this truck already feels like the limit of excess on pavement, the #1 machine changes the scale completely. Because now we are talking about a machine built to lift colossal weight. Ford Big Red Turbine Truck. In the 1960s, Ford decided to imagine what the future of long-haul trucking could look like. That idea became the Ford Big Red Turbine truck, introduced in 1964 in the United States with an advanced cab, a massive presence, and a very different mechanical concept. Instead of a normal diesel engine, it used a gas turbine. That Ford 705 turbine produced around 600 horsepower and about 1,300 newton-meters of torque. The sound was sharper and smoother than a traditional truck engine, almost like an industrial machine spooling up on the highway. Top speed was around 70 miles per hour, and 0 to 60 miles per hour was not the focus, because it was designed to cruise steadily over long distances, built to work with the turbine's unique power delivery. And the truck used rear-wheel drive. With its 2 trailers, the full rig stretched past 95 feet in length, making it look like an experimental road train. Inside, the cab was spacious and advanced for its time, showing that Ford wanted to impress with both technology and comfort. Big Red attracted attention at events, but it never went into mass production. Later, it practically disappeared for decades, which only made its legend stronger among enthusiasts. It remains one of those bold concepts that shows how far a manufacturer was willing to go in an attempt to reinvent the truck of the future. And if this truck tried to predict the roads of tomorrow, the next one was built for places where roads often do not exist at all. Camel Scarab. The Camel Scarab proves that a truck can be outrageous in a small, weird, and brilliant way. It was introduced in the United Kingdom in 1948 by Camel Lorries, and it was designed to pull short trailers around railway stations, docks, factories, and tight city streets, where a normal truck would waste too much time just trying to turn around. Its engine was a 4-cylinder inline gasoline unit, usually around 2.1 L, or about 2,090 cubic centimeters, producing roughly 50 horsepower. The transmission was manual, with short gearing for pulling loads from low speed, and power went to the rear wheels. Top speed was around 20 to 22 miles per hour. 0 to 60 miles per hour was not even part of the conversation, because this thing was built for low-speed strength, precision, and non-stop work. The suspension was simple and tough, using rugged workhorse components designed to handle repeated use on city pavement and industrial yards. The real trick was the single front wheel, which gave the Scarab an amazing turning radius. In practice, it could enter, exit, and spin around in spaces where larger trucks would get stuck doing slow, awkward maneuvers. Visually, it was almost impossible to ignore. A rounded cab, a short nose, 3 wheels, and a shape that made it look like a steel beetle. Even though it was small, it left a huge legacy by proving that practicality can also be a form of genius. Many examples were preserved by collectors, especially because they represented an era when economy, simplicity, and creativity all worked together in commercial transport. And if this little worker already feels unusual, the next one completely changes the mood. We're leaving tight urban spaces and moving into a machine built to recover tanks in the middle of war. M25 Dragon Wagon. When the job stops being delivery and turns into battlefield recovery, the M25 Dragon Wagon enters the picture. It was created in the United States during World War II, with the M26 tractor built by Pacific Car and Foundry working together with the M15 trailer. Its mission was brutally serious: recover and transport damaged tanks, stuck armored vehicles, and military machines that no ordinary truck could move. Under that massive hood was a Hall-Scott 6-cylinder inline gasoline engine with about 17.9 L of displacement, producing roughly 240 horsepower. Torque was around the 1,000 Newton-meter range, depending on the configuration, and top speed was roughly 25 to 28 miles per hour. 0 to 60 miles per hour did not matter here because this rig was built for traction, winching, and raw pulling force at low speed. The transmission was manual, with an auxiliary gearbox and low-range gearing that allowed the driver to control the truck carefully when tons of steel were stuck in mud. The tractor used 6x6 drive with solid axles, heavy leaf springs, and powerful winches for recovery operations. In the field, that could make the difference between abandoning an armored vehicle and getting it back into service. Visually, the Dragon Wagon had serious presence. The tall front end, huge tires, rugged cab, and in some versions armored protection gave it an almost threatening look. Today, it is a museum piece and a dream machine for military vehicle collectors because it represents a time when engineering and extreme necessity came together on wheels. And if hauling tanks already sounds absurd, the next truck tried to show what the future of highway trucking might look like by using a turbine instead of a conventional engine. If you found this video interesting, press 1. Do not forget to hit like and share the video with your friends. Also, Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you will not miss any upcoming videos.